What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back to Knicks Deli, baby. Yeah.
Knicks Deli edition.
If you're here for the first time, welcome. Everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. Let me tell you what's on the menu. There are 4 items on the menu here at Knicks Deli. First item on the menu is the bacon, egg, and cheese. Bacon, egg, and cheese is one of the best sandwiches in New York. Matter of fact, in the world. And there's 3 items that are on that sandwich that makes it the best. So we're going to look at, in terms of Knicks Deli, who are the 3 players that really stood out, stepped forward to help us get this victory here at Knicks Deli this morning, okay? Next up on the menu is the dollar slice. New York has the best pizza in the world, ladies and gentlemen. The world, I said. And we're going to talk about who is the dollar slice of the game. Here in New York, the pizza represents stability because it's been on top for so long. So we're going to talk about who is the player that was the stabilizing factor of the game here in Knicks Deli. And then after that, we're going to talk about who was the chopped cheese. Yeah, that's right. The chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be bussin'. So we're going to talk about who's the chopped cheese of the game here in Knicks Deli. And lastly, you can't have the chopped cheese. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese if you ain't got nothing to wash that thing down with. And here in Knicks Deli, we call that the quarter water of the game. So we're going to talk about who's the quarter water of the game. Who is that player that when they came into the game, inserted in energy, whether it's in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, or all the quarters. We're going to see who was the quarter water of this game to help us get over the top and secure that 9th straight victory. And lastly, those are the positive items that are on the menu. I did throw in a 5th item. Yeah, that's the surprise. I don't tell that up to everybody because everybody don't get it all the time. All right, this is for those out-of-towners that come in looking a little bit sideways at the orange and blue colors in Knicks Deli. You know, they got something to say on the slick. They'll smile in your face and talk behind your back. This item is for them because, like I said, true to our mission here at Knicks Deli, everybody eats, so they got to eat something. And I got something special for them to eat. And we call that the glizzy of the game.
Hey, yo!
Hey, yo is right. So the glizzy of the game goes to somebody who either says something out of pocket or somebody who I just don't like. And we want to still feed them. So we're going to give them the glizzy of the game. Then we're going to wrap this thing up with a segment that I call Nah, Son, Nah. You wildin'.
Nah, son, nah.
You wildin'. And that's when somebody says something or somebody does something that makes you look at them sideways and go, nah, son, nah. You wildin'. Then we're going to wrap this thing up with my final thoughts. I got a lot to get to. I have a lot to talk about today. So I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get started. So, man, last night the New York Knicks were able to secure their 9th straight victory. Put your hands together for our boys. Getting the job done in Utah. And it was important that they did so. Why? If you missed the game, you missed a lot. There was no cap. And I don't mean the lies. I was talking about no captain Jalen Brunson. Okay? There was no Deuce. And there was no problem because our boys went in there and they did what they were supposed to do. They took care of business. They took care of business by standing on business. That's what they did. We did get out to a slow start. The rhythm was off a little bit early, but still, you know the type of team and the type of season that we've been having. When that type of thing takes place, we don't have our captain and we don't have our top guy off the bench, and I don't feel nervous about it. That's when you know the type of season that we're having is different. I did not feel nervous about it. I figured we will make the adjustment and we will figure it out. And we did just that. So without Jalen Brunson, there was simply another opportunity for us to show the different ways that this team has found to win. All of these surface level analysts, the Stephen A. Smiths, the former players who are watching so many games and not watching thoroughly each game, they don't know what they're talking about. And usually on the day that they're facing the Knicks, they look at our starting lineup and then look at our bench and they'll throw things out there that become part of the regular narrative, or the New York Knicks don't have depth. And they do such a great job at doing that even people in the fan base starts repeating that. The New York Knicks don't have depth. What are you talking about? The moment we get back Mitchell Robinson. That we will have Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, we'll have Campaign, we'll have Deuce McBride on the bench, we'll have Precious Achiuwa on the bench. What part of depth, what more are you looking for? What more are you looking for? But even without those guys in their rightful places right now, the New York Knicks have a level of versatility that contributes to their depth. And we saw that last night in securing this victory. Something that I absolutely love is that and those were last minute scratches. New York Knicks fans tune into that game expecting for us to have our full roster. And it's so funny because we're going to talk about this. Ironically, our guy Han, he jinxed us because he started out his segment in terms of the opening, in terms of the intro, the preview, the pregame discussion. He started out that thing by saying the New York Knicks' success has been because of their good health all season. And then shortly thereafter, they started talking about, Jalen Brunson's going to sit this one out. Oh, you know what? And Deuce McBride is going to start 5 minutes later. He was just like, Campaign will be starting. Everybody's like, what? Wait, what? Twitter was going kind of crazy. I was going kind of crazy. I'm like, man, what's happening? But once again, without those guys, with those guys down, it's been historically the case that the players on Tom Thibodeau's teams have had that next man up mentality. It's the next man. It's about the next man up. That's leadership. It's about the next man up. If you ask me, the New York Knicks have a huge game, a tough game this Friday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's a lot of things that are in place. They're on a 12-game winning streak currently. And at this point, prior to this game, we are on the 8-game win streak. After this game now, we're on the 9th-game win streak. Okay? So that's a major matchup. It's a major opportunity for us to measure ourselves. Everybody's talking about how the New York Knicks, they came through a soft part of their schedule. Who else do they say that to you? Who else do they say? Do they say that to the Cleveland Cavaliers? Do they say that to the Oklahoma City Thunder? Nah. They do little things to try to gaslight you. They do little things to try to gaslight you, right? They try to point out no matter how much you're winning, they want to point out, you didn't play the right team, as if you picked your schedule. Right? Oh, nah, you can't win in this league without 3-pointers. And listen, so we've been banging down games with 2-pointers. What are you talking about? Oh, they can't get no wins without Brunson. Brunson is the majority of their offense. What are you talking about? You just got through saying he wasn't a 1A player. You just got through saying he wasn't a dude. That the New York Knicks didn't have a dude. And we just slapped the Jazz. We slapped the rhythm out of this team last night. What else do you got to say? So it's always something that they got to come up with to try to minimize the success, to try to minimize this energy that's been building, to try to tamper down the excitement of Knicks fans. Don't let these cats impact your swagger. We've waited 25 years for this. It's impossible to impact my confidence. It's impossible to impact my swagger. It's impossible to it's impossible to keep me down. What are you talking about? And I'm symbolic of every New York Knicks fan. Every one of them. Everybody eats here at Knicks Deli. Deli is never closed. All right? So, the New York Knicks stayed focused last night. They went with the next man up mentality, and they continued to share the basketball and exhibit areas of the game where they can be scary good. The league needs to be concerned. The NBA needs to absolutely be concerned. Okay? But to get back to those injuries at the last minute, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so rock with me on this one, right? Honestly, I think the New York Knicks have done a tremendous job of finding creative ways to give the players that y'all complain about, in terms of.
Got so many minutes. It's still a concern for me that the New York Knicks got these, Tom Thibodeau and these minutes and the minutes.
Listen, the New York Knicks got two of the top Iron Men on the team in Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. What are we talking about? But still, the moment that a team decides to sit out their stars, then they get backlash from the NBA. Because
that one kid who paid his only money to see the star play is seeing him on the bench, and that's just not good for PR purposes for the.
So the New York Knicks are going to be creative. Oh, you know what? This hand me tightened up. You know what? Oh, it was tightness before the game, and we don't want to risk it, so we want to rest them. Yes, what that is a creative way for the New York Knicks to be able to rest their players before a game that really matters and can elevate us or knock us down in terms of where we want to go, what our goals for the season are. So if you ask me, the New York Knicks are doing a masterful job. Tell me that that's not out of the realm of possibility when the New York Knicks are able to put together a trade like they did with Cat in signing an overseas player and then releasing him in order to meet the salary cap guidelines. You're telling me if they can do something creative like that to get around the rules of the NBA, that they can't do nothing creative like this?
Look at us. Hey, look at us.
Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought? Not me.
To make sure that our guys are well rested for an important game on Friday? Come on, B. Come on, B. All right? So that's just my conspiracy theory. Let's get into it. I know y'all are hungry. I'm hungry. Let's get into this thing, baby. So here in Knicks Deli, I already explained what's on the menu and how this works. So let's talk about who is the bacon, egg, and cheese of the game. Let's start with the bacon. Who gets the bacon of the game? And the bacon of the game has to go to Karl Anthony Towns. My guy, Karl Anthony Towns. Come on up here, my guy. Round of applause, everybody, for Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, my guy, Catman-Do. The Catman can do anything. Catman do. Karl Anthony Towns continues to be on a tear in his MVP season. The New York Knicks' first MVP since the 70s. I don't know if Willis Reed, I don't even know if Willis Reed won it. But the New York Knicks have their MVP this season, and his name is Karl Anthony Towns. 31 points last night, 21 rebounds last night, 4 assists last night, 1 block, 1 steal. Catman-Do. Catman doeth. All right? The man continues to play at an MVP level. He was 3 of 6 from 3-point range. He was 10 of 20 from the field goal range. Efficiency is this man's middle name. It's his middle mother flipping name. Now maybe he's one of the best in NBA history when it comes to this thing right now. He's definitely one of the best in the East. He is the best in the East at what he does. Okay? And the fact of the matter is, he's not trying to be a savior. Last night was a good bar of measurement because when you have Jalen Brunson goes down, the other 1A player, when he goes down, there's a natural tendency for you to think, you know what? He's going to feel the need to want to have to carry the team. I'm asking you, Knicks fans, did you see that last night? Did you see him press to do that last night? I didn't. I did not. He's not trying to be a savior. He's not trying to be a savior. He's not pressing. He's just being him. He's just doing him. And in the process, he's becoming him. Karl Anthony Towns is really looking like the MVP. And I don't think I've ever seen that up this close as a New York Knicks fan. Although he's been dominant and he's been expressive, you could tell he's embodying the vibe of New York. The man is just proud to be home. And New Jersey is home for you relatively out of town New York Knicks fans. New Jersey's right there. They're the little brother. He's home. Okay? But when you look at Karl Anthony Towns, you don't see the me aura on him. It's nowhere to be found. You don't see, even though that man will point out that New York on his chest, he's not doing it in the energy of, this is my house. He's not doing that. He's not doing that with that. He don't come with that type of energy. Nobody on the team comes with that energy. That is the difference. That is the difference that you see versus the players that we used to have. That is the difference. None of them come with that, this is my house. All of them are like, this is our house. This is our house type of thing. And it's just refreshing to see that is nowhere on the roster. It's crazy. And he could afford to have that swagger. The man is the best big man in the East, where you have Giannis, you have Embiid, you have Porzingis. The way he's playing right now, he's the best at what he does. He can afford to walk around with that swagger, beat his chest with that type of swagger, and he doesn't. He doesn't. I even labeled, in watching this game last night versus the Utah Jazz, I literally put on my notes, this is the matchup to watch. Because you had him going up against Wessler. Wessler is a player that's been in trade rumors that the New York Knicks have been really trying to angle to get, or really kicking the tires on to see if it's a possibility to bring him to our team. So obviously, you know that if you're playing on the roster, so you're just like, all right, let me see. And then even in the last game, I don't know if he was out in the last game, but historically, he's had a good showing against us, So in the back of my mind, whether or not it's like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this upon myself, the last game, the rumors, this was an opportunity for him to show Wessler who it is that he was matching up against. And that's exactly what the boy did. The man dominated his matchup. He dominated the game. He sent the message, not only to Wessler and the Utah Jazz, but continues to send a message to the league. New York is a problem. And he said it. We them boys. He put that out there. Now it's up to you to prove us wrong. He dominated. He sent the message. And he told everybody in the league, you can't do anything with me. When I'm playing, when I'm on the floor, there is nothing that you can do with me. Not a Wembanyama, not a Wesley, not an Embiid. There's nothing you can do with me with my skill set, with these New York Knicks. And he showed that. He even took a bad fall last night that made a lot of us nervous. It seemed like last night was that game, man, and I'm a San Francisco 49er fan, so y'all know our injury story, and it felt like that. It was just like, man, first we talking about Cap is out, then we talking about Deuce is out, and then, McCall came up gimpy a little bit. I was looking, anytime somebody reaches for their ankle, man, I keep seeing Kevin Durant in the playoffs, and I'm like, no. They was already talking about, I think Brunson's injury was like tightness in the calf. I'm like, yo, we do not want any type of Achilles juju near our team. None whatsoever. And then we had Cat take that spill. And when Cat took that spill, and he hit his head on the stanchion, you could see it. You could see it looked like he may have stretched his neck, because that momentum, that was real pain. When he was writhing in pain and walking as he slid up under the chair you could tell that pain. In any other team in the LeBron James era, you could tell when they run up to the player and say, stay down. Because that's an opportunity for the rest of the teammates to get their win and you to milk whether or not people will raise it to a flagrant foul. So the LeBron James playbook for getting that and falling on the floor is to milk it. Get people concerned so you can stand up. Now, all those rules don't apply to everybody in the league, and the damn sure don't apply to Cat. And Cat understood the assignment. He was down there for a moment, going through. He got to about page 2 of the LeBron James, stay down, make sure it's not injured, but wow, I'm down here, get everybody in bated breath. But then he thought about it. My reputation is I'm already soft, and I'm in New York. Pop up, bruh. Get up and act like this ain't nothing. You get back to being New York. That man popped up real quick, shook it off, and he went to the free throw line, and I'm like, Cat understands the assignment. He understands the assignment, and he's paying attention to social media. He's paying attention to the articles. The man is taking notes. He knows what's being said about him. He absolutely does. And he understood the assignment. So when he popped up, he was just like, nah, a couple of our guys are already down. I ain't even giving you the satisfaction of thinking you got some momentum. Get up. I'm gonna hit these free throws, and I'm on my way to 31 points, 21 rebounds. You getting all these buckets tonight. And that's what I love. That's the type of player he's been this season so far. And the last thing that I really enjoyed before wrapping up, Karl-Anthony Towns is the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese. This is the return of the Pat Riley center pass leak out. This has been the return of the Pat Riley center pass leak out. If y'all don't know what I mean, take a look at that game if you can watch that game again. In the 90s with Patrick Ewing, and I think they used to do it with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm not sure. Definitely did it with Magic Johnson. But this play, and they used to do it in the 90s with Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley. So part of it is easy offense, quick transition, fast transition offense. The biggest thing is to keep the pressure on the defense offensively and to find them falling asleep. So the key would be one of the bigs. The moment you rebound the basketball on the defensive rebound, you look down the floor and you throw a long outlet pass, like a football Hail Mary pass to the other end. And somebody on your team will have leaked out all the way to the other basket. Almost kind of like what they call cherry picking, where they're already down at the end of the basket. You pass that ball out, they have an easy layup. Okay? But in order to do that, you need a big man, whether it's a power forward, a tall power forward, or it's a center of yours who happens to be a good passer. It's tough to do it because if they're not a good passer, then they're going to hit the backboard. It's going to go out of bounds. They're going to turn the ball over, and it's not going to be successful. But you need a good passer for that. And the New York Knicks have that passer now in Karl-Anthony Towns. We most recently seen it with Bam Adebayo in Miami. Miami does it a lot with Bam Adebayo because he has passing ability. They did it when LeBron James was there. So it would usually be LeBron James or Kevin Love getting that rebound and then passing it to a streaking D Wade or streaking LeBron James. And then when Pat Riley was there, it was Patrick Ewing or Charles Oakley, like I said. And then when he went to Miami, it was Alonzo Mourning. And I hated seeing that Riley took what made us successful over to Miami to help make them successful. But it's back now. And the reason why it's back is because Tom Thibodeau is a disciple of the Pat Riley coaching tree. So I love the fact that he is adding wrinkles in our offense that really resemble offensive sets from other teams. We definitely have the sprinkle of the triangle offense in our offense. We definitely have the sprinkle of Golden State's playbook in our offense. We definitely have the sprinkle of Pat Riley's playbook in our offense. I'm sure of Minnesota's playbook now that we have Karl-Anthony Towns. So it's a beautiful thing to see. So the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese here today at Knicks Deli goes to Karl-Anthony Towns. Round of applause for Karl-Anthony Towns. Next up, here's the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese today here at Knicks Deli. And the egg goes to my guy, Mikal Bridges. Round of applause for Mikal Bridges. Yes, Mikal Bridges had 27 points. He was 12 of 17 from the field. Midi City all day, baby. Midi City stepped up. He showed up and he showed out last night. Mikal Bridges continues to be the NBA's Iron Man. He continues to be the NBA's Iron Man, having missed 0 games. Okay, period, in his career. Not this just season. He's missed 0 games in his career. He is the NBA's Iron Man. Okay, but also last night he continues to build upon once again the two-way excellence. The two-way excellence that he brings as an offensive player and on the defensive end as well. And this is absolutely a Tom Thibodeau wet dream. Tom Thibodeau wet. What?
Hey, yo!
Hey, yo is right. But for Tom Thibodeau to have a player that can give him production on the offensive end as well as on the defensive end, and I don't got to pull him from the game, that is a Tom Thibodeau wet dream. All right, we're just going to say that. But the Knicks are an enjoyable watch defensively as a result of it. To have a McCall Bridges, to have OG Anunoby, to have a Josh Hart in the game, in the lineup is stupid. And it's a beautiful thing to watch offensively and defensively. Okay, especially defensively. McCall Bridges has shown durability and stamina at an elite level. He's shown both of those traits and abilities at an elite level. Think about it. He is usually charged with taking on the toughest assignment for the opposing team. And that's usually the opposing team's best player. Okay? In addition to that, the man has returned back to his original form, whether it's in Phoenix or with the New Jersey Nets, of being efficient. All right? The man has the catch and shoot ability. Midi City is back. You remember the video games, they used to have a go-to move? Well, this man's turnaround fadeaway mid-range shot is almost Kobe-esque. It's almost Kobe-esque, and it seems like his go-to move, that move that's unstoppable once that bar is on full green. You can't block that shot. Also, his ability to cut to the basket in his transition offense. All of that stood out last night in Cap's absence. And this is what has gained him the recognition enough to get the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese. Round of applause for our guy, McCall Midi City Bridges. You get the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese today here at Knicks Deli.
Knicks Deli edition.
So let me take a break real quick, folks. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Throw that thumbs up in the chat. The likes make a difference. It does make a difference in terms of the algorithm. It gets me in front of more people who are Knicks fans who love this type of team that we have and this journey we're on. So do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and at the end of the video, if you love what you see, share it with a friend. Okay? Now, who gets the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese here at Knicks Deli today? And the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese has to go to OG Anunoby. It has to go to OG Anunoby, our guy, OG Anunoby. OG put this guy, Lauri Markkanen, he fully comped his ticket for a one-night stay on OG Island. The man was on OG Island. Round of applause for OG Island and OG Anunoby. If you're not a football fan and you don't know what I'm talking about in terms of OG Island, shout out to Alan Hahn because he mentioned it and I was thinking it at the same time. Darrelle Revis used to be a shutdown defensive corner for the New York Jets. Back in the day, I was almost going to say the New Jersey Jets. The New York Jets back in the day. And he played so much tight defense on the top players on the other team that he started saying they're going to get stranded on Revis Island. They ain't going nowhere. Nobody can come help them. And that's the type of situation that Lauri Markkanen was on last night. Lauri Markkanen was stranded on on OG Island. Okay? OG Anunoby had 22 points, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 2 assists, and 2 rebounds. Once again, just like McCall Bridges, he is a Tom Thibodeau wet dream.
That's some soft ass shit. Shut that soft ass shit up.
Hey, yo!
Yo, y'all gonna give me the nah, you wild moment of the game. If I keep on that, don't give me the glizzy of the game, though. Hey, yo. All right? But Lauri Markkanen was like, Lauri who? Because the defensive demon was on one last night. He was on one last night. In the previous game that we played against the Utah Jazz, which was the very first game of the season, Lauri Markkanen went on to have 34 points in that game. 34 points. And that was with OG Anunoby playing. So OG Anunoby remembered that last time and was just like, nah, we ain't doing that this game. So ultimately what happened was Lauri Markkanen went out there. He went 6 for 22. Yeah, that Lauri Markkanen went 6 for 22. Opening night at this point was a memory. OG was stamping his ticket at the front desk on OG Island in that hotel where he was stranded at. Lauri Markkanen was 1 for 10 from the 3-point range. There was zero airspace for him to operate. Zero airspace for him to operate. OG Anunoby took that personally. He took it personally. And Lauri Markkanen could do nothing. He was just there, stranded, no place to go on OG Anunoby. Nothing to do. You don't even got internet. You just sit there and you wait until timeout until my plane leaves the island. I may leave your life raft to get off of here because there's other people I'm going to need to stay at this hotel. And you ain't got to go home. But once I'm done, then you got to get the hell up out of here. And that was OG's attitude. OG Anunoby, man, is having fun. He is super comfortable with this team, with this city, with his role. You remember when it came a point in time where we were trying to decide if he was going to re-sign with us? And when he first got to us, we were wondering if he was going to re-sign and re-up with the Knicks because in Toronto, there was murmurs that he wanted a larger offensive role, that he wanted to be able to tap into that. He's just not a defensive stopper. And the New York Knicks have incorporated that. Since he's re-signed with us, he is a vacillating third option. And you could tell like he is satisfied with his role, this team, because the man is having fun. The man is diving in the stands. The man got handshakes with different teammates. The man is about, I mean, he bought Apple glasses for the entire team for Christmas, you know? And with all that being said, on the floor, he continues to be all business. And they love him, and you could see the love on his squad, man. They genuinely love OG, and you could tell he feels that. So this is why we give the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese to our guy, the defensive demon, OG Anunoby. Round of applause for OG Anunoby. Yes. Next up on the menu here at Knicks Deli is the dollar slice. Now, once again, everybody knows the dollar slice represents stability here at Knicks Deli. So who was that stabilizing factor? Who gets the dollar slice of the game? And the dollar slice goes to our guy, Josh Hart. Round of applause for Mr. Everything, Josh Hart. Bro, I'm running out of things to say. I'm running out. What can't he do? Give him anything. What can't he do?
What's next? Give me something else. What can't you do? I can do it. I can do anything.
Yeah, I'm a Diddy fan. I don't care, goddammit. The 90s, that was my whole damn, college years and everything. Y'all gonna stop disrespecting that man. Josh Hart could do everything. What can't he do? 15 points, 12 assists, 14 rebounds, triple-double. One of the more difficult things to do in this NBA of the world's best players. This man is already surpassing legends in this organization for that spot. This is ridiculous at this point. This is absolutely ridiculous at this point. He is Tibbs' minion. He is lock, stock, and barrel. Once again, before I even say it, I'm gonna Ayo myself. Ayo! Tibbs' wet dream, okay? He's relentless. The man is a savage. The man is a machine. He's a Terminator. He's a cheat code. Someone look up his rating on 2K. Tell me where it's at right now, because the joint has to have skyrocketed at this point. Get back to me on that. Someone show me the salty looks from his former teams, please. Send that, DM me that. Because they gotta be salty at this point. They tried to make this man a meme when they were consistently showing clips of people leaving him hanging when he tries to extend to let them know good game. Or even a teammate when they try to let him know, good play. He's trying to be supportive and they're leaving him hanging. People like Zion. Where the fuck is Zion at right now? What is he doing right now? People like Jimmy Butler. The only time you hear Jimmy Butler name pop up is during trade rumors. Washed. Or when he's trying to insert his name into the narrative after a New York Knicks run in the playoffs. Oh, if I was there, they wouldn't have been. What are you doing, bruh? Emo Butler. Come on, B. Josh Hart is proving them all foolish. He's proving them all foolish. Proving them all foolish. Now, Tibbs is collared him up and have him on a very, very long leash. And at any given point, the man can unclip that collar and let his dog run. Unbridled. And that's what he's been doing this season with Josh Hart. And Josh Hart has been taking a bite out of this league. So as a result of that, I'm not going to be the one not to feed him. Let that man get the dollar slice. Let that kid eat. Round of applause for Josh Hart, the dollar slice here in Knicks Deli. Next positive item on the menu is the chopped cheese. Chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be busting. So who gets the chopped cheese here in Knicks Deli? And the chopped cheese, I'm excited to say, goes to Precious Achua. Round of applause for Precious Achua. Man, what more can you say about Precious Achua? Exactly what we needed. Like I said in the opening, once again, when people will talk about your depth, you gotta look at them crazy. Like, what games do you watch? Do you watch any of the New York Knicks games? Because Precious Achua is available. He went last night off for 12 points, 3 rebounds. He had a block, he had a steal. Tremendous minutes from your backup center. He was 5 of 8 from the field. So to have a player who is so defensively available to be able to drop offense as well makes us once again one of the more versatile players. The man was 1 for 1 from the 3-point line also. He even hit a 3-pointer. Hit a plus minus of 15 last night. And that's important when you have a team coming in with versatile shooting big men such as a Wessler or Markkanen. His versatility and his two-way ability is a safety net for the New York Knicks. A safety net. That Toronto trade is a gift that continues to keep on giving. And he's always ready when he's called. Achua is a perfect fit for what it is that the New York Knicks have built. He's a perfect fit and he's a great asset for us off the bench. So a round of applause goes to the chopped cheese of the game. Precious Achua. Excuse me, you're excused. Next up on the menu, the last of the positive items on the menu. You can't have the chopped cheese. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese. You ain't got nothing to wash that thing down with. And here at Knicks Deli, we call that the quarter water of the game. So who gets the quarter water of the game? What is the player? Who is the player that when they were inserted into the game really provided that jolt of energy that really propelled us to get this victory? And the quarter water goes to our guy, Cam Mother Flippin' Payne. Round of applause
Knicks Deli
here in Knicks Deli for Cam Payne. Yeah, Cam Payne. Listen, it would have been easy to get nervous in a game when we found out that our captain, our 1A, our superstar point guard, and a major part of our offensive output was injured and would not be playing. That would be a cause for concern, right? It'll also be a cause for concern when you found out that his backup was injured and not playing. That's definitely a cause for concern, right? Yes, but once again, interestingly enough, when we found out that it would be Cam Payne that was in the starting lineup, I'm like, I could see him doing the job. And ironically, I didn't even think about who would be his backup. And then I realized that we had Tyler Stockton on a bench and he's going to be getting a few minutes, and Landry Shamet is there and available and he may be getting a few minutes, I'm like, what do y'all people keep talking about the New York Knicks' depth? What do you keep talking about? What depth problems? And he proved it to be true. He got out to a little bit of a rocky start. I don't even know if I have his percentages here, but I know he put up a couple of shots and he missed. He had a total of 8 points. He finished with 8 points. But you want to know what else he finished with? He finished with 9 assists. He finished with 3 steals. He finished with 3 rebounds. The man let the game tell him what to do. The man started the game, and as I talked about at the very beginning, there was a little bit of a rhythm problem. We got off, our rhythm was a little bit different. It was a little bit off. So he read that as the point guard, you're supposed to be able to read that. He read it early, and he adjusted his game, and he started setting his teammates up, and it was clear. When Tibbs called his number, he answered, and he answered to a tune of 8 points, 9 assists, 3 steals. He was disruptive on the defensive end. My shot ain't falling. I'm going to get it back. I'm going to get this steal that's going to lead to this layup. I'm going to be gritty. I'm going to be passionate. He let the game come to him last night, and it didn't disappoint. He got his teammates involved. He missed a few shots, like I mentioned, but then he let his defense establish the rhythm of the game. He hit his free throws. He played defense. He involved his teammates, and he steadied the ship. And if we look at the team, he looked at the team and was like, you know what? JB is down. Miles McBride is down. Don't worry about this.
Hey! Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
So campaign, my guy, you get the quarter water of the game here at Knicks Deli. Round of applause for our guy, Campaign. Now, who is going to get the glizzy of the game? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that, homegirl. Don't worry about that. Utah Jazz, you ain't got nobody who's going to get that today. New York Knicks, don't even worry about it. You ain't got nobody that's going to get that today. We're going to give this to the newest edition of the Los Angeles Lakers, our guy, Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, why are we giving it to Dorian Finney-Smith all the way in Los Angeles? Wait, isn't that kid the kid from the Brooklyn Nets? Oh, yeah, that's right. That's why we're giving it to him. And I'm giving it to him because of a special type of round of the way shout out that he provided to the New York Knicks. But he's still going to get the glizzy of the game because of the colors that he rocked and he currently rocks. And I'm giving it to Dorian Finney-Smith because he was interviewed about how does he feel about being in LA now, and he said something on the lines of, you know, it feels good not to be the little brother in the city. So I'm happy to be in a city where I'm part of the big bros. And I'm like, man, the moment he said that, I'm like, bro, you know that's a soundbite.
But I'm happy I'm here. You know, I don't want to say that but if you play for Brooklyn, you know what I mean. You don't want to be the little brother in the city. So I'm finally, with the big brothers. So that feels good.
You know they're gonna clip that thing up. And look, Net fans were salty as hell last night. Not last night, but shortly after that type of quote was released, they were salty as hell because their main existence has been trying to talk about how the Nets fleeced the Knicks with all of them picks when McCall was struggling a little bit. Now they've been church mouse quiet. They've been church mouse quiet about that. And the last thing that they needed was for Dorian Finney-Smith to say what he said. Because basically what that tells us is that is the mindset of every team, every player that comes to that team. You feel that energy. No matter how much Kyrie tried not to say it, no matter how much KD tried not to say it, no matter how much they talked about, oh, the Knicks ain't cool. Ninjas, when we were losing, we were still cooler than your team. When we were losing, and then you brought your otherworldly talents. Both of you other universally talents. Brought them to the Brooklyn Nets and still couldn't take over the city. So, the glizzy of the game goes to the entire Brooklyn Nets organization. And then I'm going to put Dorian Finney-Smith on top of that. You, my guy, get the glizzy of the game. Top off the New York Knicks fans. And lastly, who gets the nah son nah you wildin' moment of the game? But before we give that out, do me a favor, lock this video real quick. Like this video if you just joined in the channel, you missed the show. Circle back. Circle back. Look, circle the block. And spin the block and watch what you missed. But before you do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe so you know anytime I'm dropping a new video. The nah son nah you wildin' moment of the game goes to our guy Josh Hart. And this is so funny, man. I'm going to post the picture that I have, and I think I captured the person who posted it. Just a little bit of a jab at him. You know, post game, you know, he got that, you know, like the girls would sometimes say when they're doing their colorism thing, he got the good hair, you know, so he had the hair flowing at the post game. It looked like it was wet, but it was dry, like Deion Sanders would say. But it's so funny that the guy on Twitter, he did a side-by-side with Soul Glow, the commercial for Soul Glow. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to just show the picture real quick. And the nah son nah you wildin' moment of the game goes to you wildin', Josh Hart, our boy Josh Hart. So that is it. What are my parting thoughts, man? First off, I want to thank you for joining me during that time. It was a little bit shaky. Did a lot of it off the top. But, yo, we on the 9-game winning streak, baby. 9-game winning streak. Your New York Knicks, my New York Knicks. You know, it's been enjoyable. I've been on a little bit of a vacation. It's just been enjoyable getting back into the team, watching the games, really looking at the beautiful things that we're doing as an organization. We're playing beautiful basketball, defensively, offensively. The vibes are immaculate, baby. The vibes are immaculate. Knicks Deli is back popping, coming back for the spot that's rightfully ours within the hierarchy, the elite hierarchy of Knicks fans and Knicks fans YouTube channels. I'm here for my spot. I'm here for my spot. I'm here for my spot. But my parting thoughts is this, man. The New York Knicks are playing good basketball. We have a major game that's coming up on Friday against the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm trying to get my lick back, man. I know a lot of y'all are still Isaiah Hartenstein fans. I am too. You know, but yo, your boy was talking smack. It was a lot of subbing. He was subbing us up a lot. It was a lot of subliminals that he was sending, a lot of subliminal shots. First shot was when he got, you know, signed over to OKC, and they interviewed him, you know, and he talked about feeling as if he has more freedom in the offense, which is true. Let's not get twisted. He would be expected to have a larger role. He's still going to be side by side with who's the skinny kid? Keep thinking Cade. I know his name is not Cade. That's Detroit. Chet Holmgren. You know. Chet Holmgren is a beast. He's like, you know, a younger version of KD. I'm not tripping. Watch that man's game. Like he's a dog. But yo, you can enjoy. You got the bag. Tibbs got you the bag. You were able to show up and show out in his system. Gave you the opportunity on the largest stage in the world. Come on, man. Like, yo, let it go. But it seems like he was just salty. So he got over there talking about, yeah, you know, offensively, I felt like I was hitting a ceiling in New York and I could get a chance to show what I could do. All right, bet. Cool. You know, but it's just the way he said it. And then the next shot was more recent. This was about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago when they asked him about, oh, you know, so playing with SGA versus Brunson, how has that been? And he was just like, you know, well, playing with Brunson, it was really a lot of focus on like the 2-man game. Almost kind of still like I have to rely and wait on Brunson in order for. He just said it in a way that felt like he was taking shots. But ultimately what he said wasn't a shot. It was more of a detriment to the point guard he's playing with, but the way he framed it made it seem as if he was, giving roses to SGA. So it was confusing as hell, but he was just like, oh yeah, I had to, it was more working on the pick and roll game. So basically almost kind of like, all right, you set the pick and you roll, I'll get the ball to you. But ultimately he said SGA was so offensively gifted, you just give him the ball and get out of the way. So it's almost like I'm bigging up SGA, but you're asking me the difference of playing, and it almost seems as if it was a detriment that let me set you up so you could roll to the basket and get that monumental contract that you got as a result of participating in the pick and roll. So it just seemed as if it was salty. My conspiracy theory is that maybe he heard the rumblings of the Walker Kessler. Maybe he heard the rumblings of ultimate goalist Karl Anthony Towns. Maybe he thought he would be packaged to be sent because his contract was expiring. He would be packaged to be sent to Minnesota, So maybe he felt a certain way that the New York Knicks didn't want to give him that bag and re-sign him and almost promise him that, like, yo, you're going to get more minutes in a starting capacity. I don't know, but I do know the vibes that I got every time I hear him speak and the strays that continue to come our direction. So like Brunson always does when they face up against RJ, I think the New York Knicks will do what we always do when we're facing Isaiah and his new team. We're trying to get that W. We're trying to get that win. But in the meantime, I'm looking forward to that as a parting thought. I just think Cat's resurgence in New York, it's not even a resurgence because he was balling in Minnesota, but he's taken his game to another level. And something that happened recently was they interviewed him and asked him, what's different, man? It seems like everybody had doubts about you coming to New York, being able to play with Tibbs, this, that, and the third. Like, what's different? And he said, like, we're all more mature. He said, this is a new Tibbs. He was just like, he laughs more, he smiles more here. He is like relaxed. It's just different. He said, I'm different and he's different, and we could tell the difference. And you got to give credit. Check me out. Check my video out. I did a short video of appreciation that showed appreciation for those players who are no longer on the New York Knicks, but helped get us to where we are. Players like Taj Gibson, players like Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, players like Derrick Rose. And I'm telling you, it was Derrick Rose, it was getting fired in Minnesota, number one, that prompted Tom Thibodeau to visit every team and figure out what he was doing wrong and what those teams were doing right to make him adjust his philosophy on how he engages with players. But it was Derrick Rose and Taj Gibson who really taught the players how to engage with Tom Thibodeau, but who were also veteran enough and had some inside scoop enough with Tom Thibodeau to let Tom Thibodeau know what he was doing wrong. How do you connect with players like Quickly? How do you connect with players like RJ? How do you connect with a player like Julius Randle? How do you pull back? How do you connect with a player like Mitchell Robinson to get the best out of him? But he's a 7-footer who's joking. How do you connect with him enough so that he could become the best defensive player in the league? We got to give those players credit for being that bridge to make the adjustment so that the Tom Thibodeau we see now, who seems more like a fatherly type of figure, is allowing a player like Cat to flourish. And we also got to give a credit to Jalen Brunson as the best player on the team, who number one vouches for Tibbs, and to be able to play at the level that he's playing at and have his coach. Something I love is every championship team or the icon player on a championship team, multiple championship team, has that coach that they're known to be connected with. You think about Kobe and Shaq, you think about Phil Jackson. You think about Michael Jordan, you think about Phil Jackson. You think about Tim Duncan, you think about Pop. You think about LeBron James, you think about Spoelstra. You think about the bad boys, you think about Chuck Daly. And I'm telling you, man, the New York Knicks can get this victory, this singular championship, Tom Thibodeau's going to be historic. If Karl Anthony Towns can bring us this singular championship, at least to start, I want more, don't get it twisted. Tom Thibodeau's face is going to be in the annals of history. Statues, baby. Same guy y'all trying to kick out. So that's my part of thought. We in a good spot. 10 in a row. Let's go. Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life. That applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. But remember this. Whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli, everybody eats. I am your boy Shia, and I'm out.